this is my sister.
I'm back again.
Yeah, she's back again. For those of you who don't know, I did reaction videos before, and she was in a couple. But today, we went to go see Assassin's Creed, which, to me personally, is not a good film. But we'll start with the story synopsis, alright? It follows Cal Lynch, who's played by Michael Fassbender, in this film. Why are you staring at me?
I don't know.
Anyway, so he gets... Okay, so he's at the state penitentiary, right? You know, he's apparently done something wrong to warrant him a death sentence. Well, we don't really get that explanation for murder.
Well, one of the guys in the cell says that...
Yeah, it says that, but it's like...
You're being executed because of this and that.
Yeah.
Like two things.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's explained, it's just not like... There's no backstory to this character. The only sort of backstory we kind of get is when he's a kid, but there's not enough there.
That's only like a 5-minute part of the film.
It's only like
3 minutes.
Yeah, it's only like 3 minutes, so you don't get a lot of like huge backstory for this character. So that means there's not a lot to really go out from, other than maybe writing the character in a nice, likable way. And unfortunately, once he gets to Abstergo, who's being run by Jeremy Irons' character, who's this head of the Templars, sort of say, from the Assassin's Creed world, it just hits the fan. Like, there's no character development whatsoever. None. Once he gets to Abstergo, like, there's no, like, personal arc. There's no, like, inner conflict. As soon as he gets into the Animus, which is like this, you know, virtual reality simulator
of your ancestors.
Of your ancestors. It's genetically linked. It's explained in the games.
I really want one.
Yeah, she really wants one. But it's explained in the games, and it's kind of explained in the movie. But as soon as he gets in the Animus, his perception of reality starts to change. But there's no, like, inner conflict. As soon as he gets in that, his character changes from a guy who, you know, murdered, you know, this pimp, as it says in the film, to a point where there's no likability with the character. There's none. They try to throw in these jokes like, oh, I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah, like during some serious times, a joke would randomly come in. I mean, me and my friend would find it funny, but after a while, and then this eagle kept showing up, and it's at the most inconvenient times. Like, we know the eagle's gonna show up, so it got really boring after a while.
And here's the thing, one of the huge problems with video game movies, especially films that are dedicated to fans, is that they put too much Easter eggs into a film, and they expect every general audience member who may or may not be a fan of Assassin's Creed to get these references. And that's where the main... Yeah, she got like two.
I didn't hear any of the rest of them because there were like explosions and things going on in the background that I was like, what is happening?
And, you know, and you don't really, like, as a movie watcher, I play the games, alright? I've played the games, I've enjoyed some of them.
One game.
I played a couple.
That was Black Flag, but I only played Black Flag.
But I've played a couple of the games that I really appreciated. However, when you're trying to convert, let's say, a 15-hour campaign into something that's 2 hours...
It doesn't work.
It really doesn't work, because all it is...
you don't get all the effects of the story and what the ancestor did. They just had to kind of rush it. I think their budget
And here's the thing. The most interesting stuff comes in the Animus. Anything that comes in 1492 itself is interesting, but they don't explore it enough. You only get about 15, maybe 45 minutes, I'd say, in 1492, but the rest of the time you're in Abstergo, and it's boring. There's nothing in Abstergo. Like, even Jeremy Irons, who's had many bad reputations for being in other films, like Dungeons and Dragons, you know, like, his character and what he does, it's boring. There's nothing new with a character like this.
And to say that some of, when some characters talk, like the leader of Abstergo, that's the Templar leader, he just sounds like he doesn't want to be in the film. Like, he's so monotone about everything.
I mean,
I am a Templar leader. I'm evil.
Yeah, and I think that's partially to do with bad direction.
I would have been a better leader.
There's a lot of things you could do as a director that makes scenes interesting, but the direction of this film, nothing's interesting in this film. Almost nothing. The only kind of things that are interesting is little bits about, like, humanity and whatnot. Some of the more philosophical aspects are kind of okay, but they don't explore it enough to where it would pique my interest. It always felt to me like The Matrix a lot of the times. I'm not a huge fan of The Matrix. You know, there's a lot of dumb action. There's a lot of dumb action in The Matrix and Assassin's Creed. But it puts in these philosophical aspects that will, like, tear people's brains apart. But, again, Assassin's Creed, the movie, is not good. It has pacing problems as well. Like, whenever we're in Abstergo, I always felt like just leaving the theater. Because it drags on and
you're
on,
just stuck
and there's
in one
nothing
scene
to learn.
forever, basically. Like, in the cafeteria scene, everybody was watching them for, like, about 20 seconds of the film time. The certain people were watching the main character for 20 seconds of the film time, and so that took like 2 minutes of people just staring at this one character, and it took forever to get to the next scene.
And it just drags. But whenever you're in 1492,
or in
it's
the
fast. It's faster
paced. It's amazing.
It has a good pace. However, when it gets back to, you know, the Animus, it's back to the boring stuff. And we don't want the boring stuff. We actually want to see a film that is action-paced. And you can have, you know, the Templar stuff behind the scenes, but keep most of it in the Animus. That's the problem with the film, is that it takes away the magic of what made Assassin's Creed cool to the point where, you know, it's not cool. And unfortunately, this film is not going to get a sequel because of it. They're not going to get as much money as they need to make a sequel, and that's sad. Because I could see a movie about Assassin's Creed, but this one just doesn't have the proper writing, it didn't have proper direction. The action scenes, while they are good, is muddled with shaky cam. I could not, God, for the life of me, I could not see.
It kept switching from like one place to another, and then back and forth and back and forth, and it would look really blurry most of the time.
You know, and there's
even though we were up in like the second part of the theater.
Yeah, and there's certain shots for sure where it like swoops over, you know, these huge armies, and you want to see characters inside of that fight, but instead it's more restricted to Solid Snake levels, you know, where it's just more interpersonal. And I don't blame that. I don't blame that, but like, it's not interesting. The film didn't grapple me as a whole because none of these characters are likable. None. I grew no attachment because of weak character development. There was no character interaction that was interesting to me. There was just none. You know, it could have been so much better, but I don't know. Maybe we are never going to get a truly good video game movie adaptation. We're not on the level that Assassin's Creed got. You know, I wish it was better. I wish it was better, guys. You know, you know, there's a couple things I kind of like. You know, you can obviously tell with the fight scenes they had really good choreography. But again, what muddles it is the camera movement and the intersplicing between 1492 and the Animus. That breaks up the tension and the feel of what you should do in an action movie. Some of the best action films, you know, they have these standard shots where it's just sedentary, but you see the fight. You see how strong these fighters are to each other. You know, some of the best fight scenes of all time have done it that way. They didn't need this sort of shaky cam movement. And, you know, the only, like, real positive thing I could do for this film is costume design.
The costumes were amazing.
Like, the costumes, especially for 1492, that's the only thing I'll give it to them. But even with that, it's not a good movie, guys. And I was looking forward to this film for a while. And I should have taken the warning signs from the trailers. I should have. There were so many bad signs in the trailers.
Some people, even in actual video games, make the trailer, like Watch Dogs, for example, the first one. You see at like E3 and stuff, all these amazing graphics, and it's bright and beautiful, and then when you actually get the game, it looks really derpy. But I mean, I still like the game. I mean, the story is kind of good, but a few of the characters just don't need to be in the game. Like, it bothered me that they were there, and that you had to take them out one way or another.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, my score for Assassin's Creed is, unfortunately, guys, a 1 out of 10. It doesn't deserve to be bought even on Blu-ray or DVD. You can pirate it if you want, but that's about it. There's nothing for me. What would you give this movie?
Maybe like a 2 or 3.
A 2 or 3 out of 10?
Because when I know it switched from the Animus to 1492, but the thing about it is that when he was in 1492, when he was like climbing walls and stuff, it would show that, and it would look like he was a spider, and it just made it look really weird. But the other thing that I liked about it was that the bleeding effect graphics, when the main character is having like hallucinations of his ancestor, I thought that was really cool, and how he was fighting him and stuff. And so I thought that was amazing. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to self-train myself.
Yeah. So yeah, my sister would give it a 2 to 3. I give it a 1. It's definitely not one that you would want to watch. Maybe if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, you might be curious.
I mean, there were only like 10 people
But, you
in
know,
the theater.
I wouldn't even buy this if it was in the $5 bin at Walmart, unfortunately. So let us know down in the comment section below, what is your favorite video game movie? What is your least favorite video game movie? What do you think is the worst video game movie of all time? Let us know down in the comment section below, and stay spirited.